Welcome to Totally Random Horror Films Cheap Reviews. I'm Tom. In this series, I will randomly select a horror film, serial, television episode, short, or other visual medium between the years of 1895 and 1989 and review it. For my second episode, we are going to go back to a time when horror was nothing like what it is now. Today, we'll be looking at the Georges Méliès short Le Repas Fantastique, known in the US as A Fantastical Meal. Before I watched the film, I researched to get as much context as possible. This information was sourced from IMDb, the Internet Movie Database, and Wikipedia. Le Repas Fantastique was released late in the year 1900 and was produced by Georges Méliès for Star Film, his own production company. It is listed as film number 311 in the Star Film catalog. Georges Méliès also directed and starred in the film. The other actors are uncredited. Le Repas Fantastique is a black and white short. It is 1 minute and 30 seconds long and is available on YouTube. A little background. Georges Méliès was a stage illusionist, actor, and director before he became enamored with motion pictures. He popularized special effects and made over 500 films, though most of them have been lost. Le Repas Fantastique is the only surviving Méliès film from 1900 that could even be considered horror. During this year, US filmmakers like Thomas Edison were trying to monopolize the film industry. They were upset over the successes that foreign films were having, so steps were being taken to keep those films out of screenings. After the process of film duplication was discovered, it became more difficult for this tactic to work. To protect the interests of French filmmakers, the trade union Chambre syndicale des éditeurs cinématographiques, or Chamber Union of Film Publishers, was formed, of which Méliès was the first president. The union's headquarters was in the Théâtre Robert Houdon, or the Theatre of Robert Houdon, which was also owned by Méliès and used to screen debuts. Le Repas Fantastique was an original Méliès production. It exists in the public domain. Aside from Georges Méliès himself, who plays the old man, there are 4 additional roles that were filled by uncredited individuals. 2 of the roles are Lady 1 and Lady 2, and one of them is likely played by Jehan Darcy, who is a staple in Méliès films. The third role is the butler, and the fourth would be the ghost. Time for the review. Every one of my reviews has the potential to contain spoilers. Horror films from 1900 are more playful than scary. For me to consider an early silent film as horror, it has a very low bar to clear. There's usually one element that connects it to what may have been considered horror at the time. These films deserve at least some mention on Totally Random Horror Films. This film relies on substitution tricks. The camera is stopped, something in the frame is moved or replaced, and the camera rolls again as if no time had elapsed. Objects can appear, disappear, rearrange, and change completely with a well-timed trick. Since Le Repas Fantastique lands in the public domain, this short can be shown in its entirety. Méliès was one of the first people to begin using the substitution trick. He certainly became known for that. The comedy comes from these tricks. As you can see, things move in the frame and the actors must sell the trick by reacting the correct way. All the gags with the maid being blamed for boots being in the soup, the table grows extended legs. With a lockdown camera, this whole thing is really just the trickery of an illusionist's presentation. There looks to be some trapdoor effects as a 2-dimensional table moves up and down out of the floor, and then we finally get to the horror, this ghost. If you don't look closely, it's kind of creepy in a chaotic way, but at closer inspection, it's kind of silly looking, almost like a furry character from Sesame Street. The old man attempts to fight it. We can see it's impossible to hit, as double exposure trick has made it transparent. The old man is then blown up by dynamite, and in quite a grim scene, his lifeless body flops around, on wires of course, as if somehow he survived this explosion as the gruesome pulp of a man. This is standard fare for a Méliès film. The actors, props, and furniture are all treated the same, a rearrangeable playset. It is clear Méliès and company just came up with a series of gags they wanted to play, and then rather nonsensically strung them together, magically bringing in the next necessary prop without needing to give a reason. Aside from a few special films, most of Méliès films are similar and use similar tricks, which can give them the seen one, seen 'em all feel. Despite that, this is a minute and a half of your time, and likely charming enough for a watch. That's all for Totally Random Horror Films Cheap Review Show. Stay tuned for the next random review.